o'clock. ABC 10 News at 5 starts right now.
An FDA panel gives the green light to Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine. How soon people in San Diego County will begin to receive the shots. Plus, you may still need to wear a face mask even after getting a vaccine. An in-depth look at why that extra layer of protection is still necessary.
And in this season of hope, a high-tech light display is brightening the holiday spirit. The local neighborhood where families are using innovation to display a bit of tradition.
ABC 10 News at 5 starts now.
Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine has passed a critical milestone in the fight to curb the spread of coronavirus. Good evening, I'm Kimberly Hunt.
And I'm Steve Atkinson. Lindsay Pena has the night off tonight. This afternoon, a panel recommended the FDA authorize the vaccine. As our ABC 10 News reporter Jennifer Dela Cruz explains, the next challenge is getting it to those who need it most.
The vaccination of a lifetime is just days away for San Diego hospitals. Sharp Healthcare is getting ready to distribute thousands of Pfizer vaccines to their frontline employees.
They will sign up and be scheduled, so it won't be, we don't want people lining up at the door. We want to make sure we're maintaining social distancing.
Suzanne Shea is the Vice President of Pharmacy Services for Sharp. She says their freezer will store the doses at the necessary negative 80 degrees centigrade. From there, they'll be moved to refrigerators when they're ready to be given out. The vaccine won't be mandatory for their staff, but it will be available at all of their locations to make it as convenient as possible. Frontline workers like Edzo Montemayor are at the top of the list to get the vaccine. He's a physical therapist working with COVID patients who've been hospitalized.
We're right in front of them, standing them up, face to face. And, the first inclination is to want them to wear a mask so that they're not, coughing onto you and whatnot. But their oxygen saturations are so low that you almost just feel bad for asking them to do so.
He sees the long-term effects COVID can have on the body. He says some people can't even get out of bed. Others have lasting symptoms resembling a stroke.
I've seen a lot of people where they're not going to return to normal life. It takes a village to help these folks, and the nurses are overwhelmed, and so it's all hands on deck.
The challenge now for many healthcare workers is dispelling myths about vaccines. They're hoping that by their example, others will follow.
Are you going to be getting the vaccine?
Absolutely. That needle's going to go in my arm.
Sharp Healthcare says even people who've already had COVID-19 should be vaccinated. Jennifer Dela Cruz, ABC 10 News.
And San Diego County is set to receive 28,000 doses of the vaccine for the initial shipment. Another round of vaccines is expected to come in about 3 to 4 weeks.
Even though Americans could start getting vaccinated in days, people who get the shot will still have to wear masks until scientists can answer a key question. ABC 10 News reporter Derek Stahl is going in depth to explain the concern around vaccinated people potentially spreading the virus.
The clinical trials by Pfizer and Moderna showed the two vaccines were 95% effective. But what that really means is they were 95% effective at preventing COVID-19 symptoms. The trials did not measure whether vaccinated volunteers got infected without symptoms.
So it is possible and conceivable you could get the vaccine, be protected, your health is going to be fine, you're not going to get sick, but you still could get an asymptomatic case, pass it on to your grandmother and kill her.
Both the Pfizer and Moderna vaccines are injected into the arm muscle to stimulate antibodies. And from there, the antibodies can quickly get to the lungs to fend off severe infection. But experts say the antibodies may have less access to the nose and the throat, the primary entry points for the virus. Some studies have suggested that people without symptoms can still have high enough levels of coronavirus in their nose to infect other people. Dr. Christian Ramers is with Family Health Centers of San Diego.
So the vaccine's doing something to prevent disease. We don't really know yet if it prevents transmission. So we got to fall back on all those fundamental things like distancing, masking, and washing hands.
Still, experts say there are encouraging clues that vaccinated people may be less contagious, like a study in October that found antibody levels in the blood were similar to levels in saliva in the mouth. Until we know more, doctors say vaccinated people will have to keep wearing masks, potentially until we reach herd immunity.
There's modeling to suggest that it will be next summer until we reach the point where there's enough people vaccinated that this curve of new cases really starts to go down.
There's a chance we could get some good news before then. Both Pfizer and Moderna say they'll start testing their volunteers' blood to see if they got infected after vaccination. Moderna says it'll take several weeks to produce results. Derek Stahl, ABC 10 News.
AstraZeneca conducted its trial a little differently and had volunteers regularly test themselves for signs of an asymptomatic infection. And the company said early data shows that its vaccine reduced infections, but it has not revealed those details yet. A voluntary smartphone app to trace COVID-19 cases is now available to everyone in California. The California Notify tool was developed with the help of UC San Diego researchers. Using Bluetooth technology, it records when two phones are close to each other for an extended period of time. If one of the users later tests positive, they have the choice to anonymously notify close contacts from the last 14 days. And the technology is now available on all iPhones and Androids, and it's all free.
The daily death toll from coronavirus in the U.S. has now surpassed the 9/11 attacks. Yesterday was the deadliest day since the pandemic began 9 months ago. Tom Nicholson, who lives in California's Central Valley, recently lost his 94-year-old mother to COVID.
She said she was surrounded by angels. It was humbling because she was, in fact, surrounded by angels ready to take her to her eternal home.
Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell is now rejecting a compromise proposal with Democrats for a COVID-19 relief package. This comes as a potential government shutdown was put off a week. Here's ABC's Karen Travers.
It's a troubling, eye-popping number. 853,000 Americans filing new claims for unemployment benefits last week, up 137,000 from the week before. Americans all across the nation are hurting, and after months of failed negotiations, Congress is now scrambling to send help. The House approving a one-week extension to finalize and pass a $1.4 trillion bill that will fund the government through September 2021. The Senate's expected to pass the extension by the end of the week. That extra week gives Congress more time to work on a COVID-19 relief package. A group of bipartisan lawmakers continues negotiations to hammer out the details of a $908 billion package. It includes a $300 weekly boost to unemployment insurance benefits for 16 weeks, $82 billion for education providers, and $300 billion for the Small Business Association loan program. This measure does not include another round of direct payments to Americans. Right now, it's not clear if Republican and Democratic leadership will sign off on this bipartisan package, let alone President Trump. But there is plenty of finger-pointing.
Make no mistake. Right now, there's one person, just one person, standing in the way, and that is Leader McConnell.
While Democrats hold the Paycheck Protection Program hostage over controversial state government bailouts, family businesses are closing their doors.
There is immense pressure to get something done. Republican and Democratic leaders are signaling Congress will not break for the Christmas holiday until a COVID-19 relief deal is reached. Karen Travers, ABC News, Washington.
And you can follow any developments surrounding the pandemic by downloading our free mobile app. Just go to the App Store and search 10 News.
Todd Gloria was officially sworn in as San Diego's mayor this morning, but as ABC 10 News reporter John Horn explains, there is very little time for celebration.
I, Todd Gloria, do solemnly swear.
And with that, Todd Gloria officially began his term as San Diego's mayor.
Today, I stand in front of you as the first person of color and LGBTQ person to ascend to our city's highest office.
Gloria and 5 new council members were sworn in during a virtual ceremony Thursday due to the COVID-19 outbreak. Gloria is a Democrat, and the Democrats now have an 8-to-1 advantage on the city council. But even if there is political harmony, the challenges facing the city are grand. Gloria and the council take over with the region in a mandatory stay-at-home order due to the virus. Small businesses are shuttering, unemployment is near 8%, and the city could face a $124 million budget shortfall next fiscal year.
You know, there are some things that people say you shouldn't touch, such as police, fire, that type of thing, but If this continues on for another year, this COVID, who knows what the city budget's going to look like.
But in a brief speech, Gloria expressed confidence in getting San Diego back on its feet.
We will be rolling out an aggressive strategy to address the worsening public health crisis in COVID-19, the economic crisis that is impacting San Diego's families, small businesses, and our city budget, the housing and homelessness crisis that has become even more dire.
Gloria says it's not enough to get San Diego just back to normal. He says normal isn't good enough. John Horn, ABC 10 News.
Outgoing Mayor Kevin Faulkner also gave a farewell speech.
Together, we have restored integrity to government, respect to our neighborhoods, and dignity to our city. Because when we set aside politics and lead with pride, there is nothing we can't do.
He called Gloria a friend and said the new mayor has what it takes to overcome the city's challenges. The San Diego City Council is also expected to pick a new council president. Monica Montgomery Stepp and Jennifer Campbell are front runners to take over the seat previously held by Georgette Gomez.
Oh, you mother. Really? That's what I say.
That La Mesa business owner who got into a scuffle with reporters back in January is in trouble once again. Peter Karzis was arrested early Wednesday morning outside of an apartment complex on Lemon Avenue in La Mesa. Police say that he violated this restraining order filed in 2013 by a 62-year-old. It states that Karzis must stay 100 yards away from the protected party's address. When officers arrived, they found Karzis sitting outside of the residence of the person who filed the restraining order. And investigators are looking for the arsonist they say intentionally lit a garbage can on fire, scorching the side of a Normal Heights home. San Diego Fire and Rescue arrived at that home in the 3300 block of Meade Avenue around 2 o'clock this morning to find the trash can on fire. They quickly knocked it down before it engulfed the home in flames. One person was displaced without a home tonight. There is still no description of the person who set the fire.